Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. It's Wendy here from Little Nest Crafts. Thank you for joining me this evening. Now this video is going to be a quick video. I'm not going to be making anything this evening. What it is just to share with you the past few days because I've been away to Rachel and Bella's craft retreat, and it's been fantastic as always. For those of you who don't know, if you go over onto Rachel and Bella's website, she hosts a craft retreat 3 times a year, and this is my 3rd year of going, but unfortunately I can only get to the summer ones, although I would love to go to the spring one and the autumn retreat, but sadly, you know, it's just one of those things. You can't have everything. You can't have everything in life, I suppose. And I thoroughly enjoy going to the summer one. And for the past 3 years, it's been hosted in a beautiful part of South Wales, which is just about 40 minutes drive away from where I live. Beautiful setting, and it's called Wern Y Cwm Farm, and I highly recommend it for those of you who've been toying with the idea of going to one of Rachel's retreats. You know, you won't be disappointed. Great group of ladies that go. There was a couple of new ladies that we met this year, and I'll say hi again, and it was lovely to have you join us, and great to see all the other ladies that we know and love, that we've become good friends over the past 3 years since Rachel's been hosting the retreats. And Rachel doesn't do anything by halves. Everything is well organised, and she starts off by giving you a list of suggested items to bring. So you'll get next year, if you come along, or if you come along to the autumn one, she gives you an idea of things to bring with you. So I won't go through all the list, but it's things that you'll need, things that you may like to bring. And then she tells you, she has a little shop at the retreat as well, with all handmade, well, not all handmade goods. She brought some different items this year, and they were lovely. I wish I had more money to spend, but yeah, so they've got, as I say, a little shop, and they also bring equipment, because obviously it's, you know, to save space and to save everybody taking duplicate things. All the big pieces of equipment like sewing machine and laminators and paper cutters and things like that, paper trimmers, Rachel does actually, she puts them on a table, and we, you know, free to use her equipment, you know, as and when we need to. So that's in the prep stage. And then what we did on previous years is we all, on previous years that I've been, there's been about 25-30 people that go, and each person that's going has to make a piece of ephemera to put in a journal, and you take it along with you, and everybody swaps then. So we all come away with 25 pieces of ephemera to go inside your journal and to make a little journal with. But she did it slightly different this year. So when we arrived at the retreat, this was waiting for us on our, you know, she splits you all up into groups, and this was on the table. So there was a little itinerary telling us what was going to be done over the 2 days. We got there Monday morning, and you stay there obviously, and then Tuesday, and we slept overnight again on Tuesday evening, and then we had Wednesday up until 1 o'clock, which finished off the retreat. And what she did this year, she split us all into little groups, so we didn't have to make 25 pieces of ephemera. What she suggested was that as you can see here, my group, I was in group 1, and there was 4 of us. So what one of us had to make 8 pockets, one had to make 8 belly bands and tuck spots, one had to make 4 signatures with 10 pages in, put together 4 signatures with 10 pages, and then to make some tags as well. So I was on the pocket list for mine, and then everybody did the same. So obviously everything will have been different because nobody knew what papers we were using, etc., etc., what style of pocket or tuck. And then when we got there, on our tables was this lovely journal here. And let me just zoom out a little bit zoom in a little bit, sorry, so that you can see. Excuse all the rubbish on my desk. That's the journal I'm working on at the moment, with Rachel's beautiful kit. So, and this is absolutely stunning. As you can see here, it didn't have this little ticket on. It was just left plain. And this is a canvas cover, and cotton drill type material. And Rachel's done a beautiful patchwork on the front and on the rear, and then machine stitched with a nice zigzag stitch all the way around. So when we came along then, we sewed in, we all shared out what we'd done on our table, the pockets, tucks, belly bands and signatures, and we had to sew them in the journal. So this is what was actually made. And then when everybody had finished putting all the ephemera in and stitching the signatures in, these went off onto another table, and Rachel put the tickets on, the numbered tickets, and then we did a raffle at the end. So the raffle numbers were left on your desk, and after lunch when we came back, the raffle was done, and this was the journal that I was given, so that everybody got somebody else's journal. And it was uncanny really, but Bella, she got Rachel's journal, total fluke, absolutely total fluke. And then Cheryl, who was sat opposite me, got her own journal back. So I mean, how on earth, in the grand scheme of things, the odds that would happen, you wouldn't expect it. Anyway, it was redrawn, and Cheryl did get somebody else's journal, and it was swapped, so everybody was okay in the end. So I'll just give you a quick flip through, but prior to doing that, what happened during the retreat, before I open the journal, this year there were 6 workshops that we could have attended. There was colour play with Steph, there was rolling journal papers with Rose, there was cricket confidence with Rose as well, and there was from blank to beautiful with Angela Kerr, because Angela comes to the retreat as well. And there was ink and impressions with Jez from Nigeza Creates, and then there was the art of the Hus Wiff with Bella, or Hus Wiff. Some people say Hus Wiff and some people say Hus Wiff, with Bella. So we had a choice of workshops. You could go to all of them if you wanted, and I went to 3. I would like to have gone to them all, but finances was a bit dictates, and I wanted to buy some things at the retreat as well. And so yeah, whatever you felt, the choice is absolutely yours, and the workshops were fantastic. So thoroughly enjoyed the ones that I went to, and I'll hopefully do them again next year. So everybody who went to the retreat came away having learnt some new skills, or brushed up on old skills. I know that some of them I'd done previously, but it's always nice to refresh your memory, and to just different techniques and things like that, even though you might have done one of the skills, like for example using napkins, but you do learn, you pick up different techniques and things that you can do after. So you always learn you always learn new skills and new methods and ways of working. So absolutely great. So I think I've told you all about those. So I've kept these because I thought they'd be nice mementos to remind myself of the retreat. So these things are all going to go in the pockets of the journal. So what I'll do now is I'll give you a flip through, and then I'll show you a couple of items that I've been working on after I've shown you this. So as I say, this is the front page, and inside there's a beautiful pocket and a beautiful tag here, lovely papers, and it's got vellum. It's like a vellum pocket on either page, and the tag opens up, so you've got loads of writing space inside, and it's finished off with a bit of frou-frou there, eyelash trim on the top. Lovely butterfly there, gorgeous, on that page. And the papers are from Rachel's Ode de la Nature kit there, which are stunning. Some stamping there, lovely envelope there, and I'm not sure what that's had in, but it's beautiful. And we've got some original book page there with a little flip out and a tuck spot for me to tuck. Probably one of these cards could go in there, maybe a bit big, but oh, it's a smaller tuck, so you've got something there. Look, some original receipts here, vintage receipts, so that's gorgeous too. Lovely coffee dyed paper with some stenciling, lovely. Some vellum there, and a nice paper bag, lovely delicate paper bag, and this has been run through an embossing machine, so I don't know whether you can see that in this light, difficult to tell, but I think you can just make it out. And there's a little wraparound there with some ribbon, and you've got some book page, music book page with an envelope, and then you've got a scrappy bit of lace with Hessian behind, and some stickers, stickers. Some more coffee dyed paper there. This looks or feels like watercolour paper, and it's been embossed. We've got some die cuts with some material scraps here, and die cut flowers, a label, and a bit of cardboard here with some gesso or something on the top. Lovely. I've done some more corners in the edge there with my stamps. Lovely Edith Holden page, I think that is, or something, one of that style of book there. Beautiful page there with some pockets, and look at that lovely little floating pocket there with a frame on with a vintage lady, and it's been finished off with gilding wax around the end, just to, you know, gilt the edges of the frame. Really nice. We've got some doily, some more book pages here with some scraps that have been put on the edge. I love that. Some ledger paper. Here's a beautiful scrappy tag, and it's been finished off with it should go that way, with some flowers and some stamping, some die cuts there, and it's been run through the embosser and then gessoed, and I'm not sure. Oh, it's a little paper bag, look. How lovely is that? Yeah. And that just fits in there, if I can get it in. There we are. I know it was a bit tight when I took it out earlier, but it does go. There we are. And here we've got some lace with some numbers that have been coloured and gessoed, and some scraps here, and there's some film strip here, die cut film strip with a photo. Lovely attention to detail, lovely. Some lovely corner and edge stenciling there. Some document, I think it's a faux document, possibly, or it might be an original. I'm not sure. Coffee dyed paper, and here we've got a beautiful tag that's been finished off with some edging, and the butterfly's got some gems, and we've got a tuck spot in the back here. That's a little flip out, and that pocket sits in there nicely. There we go. Some original book page with some dormice, so that's lovely. And we've got some more of Rachel's papers. Here's a little envelope, little policy style envelope there. Love that paper. And it's been embossed and then rubbed over with some gilding wax, I think, to enhance the embossing. And it's behind a belly band that's lovely. It's all been made with pieces of, scraps of cotton lace, and then you've got lovely butterflies behind there. Really lovely. Here we've got some more stenciling. That's the other side of the document. That's an original, I think, that one. Some more stenciling there. And here we've got a beautiful edge to this pocket. And it's been folded over and stamped with these little grid marks. It's got some stenciling as well. And the grid marks are continued on here and gone over with a text stamp. And then this tool has been added, and the tool has got these flowers embroidered in amongst the tool, so that's beautiful. And here we've got a little scrappy paper book. Isn't that lovely? Just made out of little scraps. It's all crinkly and textured, and you've got some cheesecloth with another image from the kit and butterflies from the kit, some little gems, and we've got some lace trim, and that just sits nicely in the pocket. Some more ledger there, another image from the kit with some beautiful lace. That's the other half of the doily. Here we've got another tag with some scrappy eyelash trim, finished off with some die cuts, and I love the way the pocket's higher up and the die cut's been continued down the page, and then there's a little bit of washi tape holding it in place. Love that. Another corner stencil that I've put in myself on there, and because that's the nice thing about this journal, it's not finished. You can add all your own extras into it to make it your own. Here we've got some more stenciling. Some more stenciling's been done on the coffee dyed paper. We've got some music page with a little cluster here with some scraps of paper and textured paper, and then there's a sticker behind it and a sticker label here. And here's some book page, French book page, with a remnant of an envelope, and that's been stuck on and held down with a beautiful wax seal. I was going to call it a wax melt then, but yeah, wax seal. And then we've got some more cotton lace trim. That's the other part of the coffee bag, sorry, paper bag. And they've used some inks here, I think, pinks and greens, to make it tie in with the kit. And you've got another pocket to put something, another nice large tag or something in there. In fact, I could put those in there, couldn't I, in this pocket? Or maybe they could go in the front. I'll do that later. Then we've got some beautiful vellum. I love vellum. And here we've got another stencil with some washi tape and some lovely lace. And again, and that's the original receipt, a French receipt there from a furniture shop. I'm not sure what date it was on that. I'll have a look in a minute. Spare pocket there, a side pocket. Something else can go in there. That's the book page, and that's the other part of the envelope. And the bottom has been opened up, and for me to put something in. And here I've done some stenciling. I got an iris, and I've put the iris in there because I thought it would match up there with this backing. And then what each person's done on the journal that they put together, they've signed the back. So this says, Rachel and Bella's Craft Retreat Junk Journal Swap. Enjoy, and I hope I get to see the finished make. And this is by Shirley, and it was dated the 3rd to the 6th, 2025, with lots of kisses. So thank you, Shirley. I really love this little journal, and I will treasure it, and I will make it my own by adding bits and bobs. I tend not to write in my journals. My handwriting is terrible, and I always think, well, it'd spoil it. But I do put, you know, things in like photos and little bits and like that, and then I write on the bits of paper and accompany them with the things that I add in. But I don't actually write on the pages in the journal. But I suppose I should really. So yeah, this is the journal that we had. And I'm sure Rachel will come up with another wonderful idea next year, and you know, for doing another journal or another piece of craft work. So that's the journal side of things. But what I did one of, as I said previously, one of the activities that I did, the workshops that I did, was run by Bella, and you all know, who follow Bella's YouTube page, what wonderful things that she produces with just scraps of material and bits of paper. And so I joined her workshop for to make a Hus Wiff, because she'd done one previously at one of the other workshops that I missed, and it was requested again that if she would go over it, and I'm so glad she did, because it was one of the things that I've got on my list of to-dos. So what Bella had done was, on our desk where we on our table, should I say, where we were sitting, there was a piece of batting, which is this sort of material here, and then there was a piece of, you know, some more. Looks like an old tablecloth, and so they were left on the table, and then in the centre of the table there was a big bowl, and in it was all these scraps of material, and we could help ourselves, and we had to lay them on top of this piece of tablecloth here and make our own design. So this is what I've done so far here, and so this is going to be the front of my Hus Wiff. And then she said, help yourself to the material to do the back. and some people have gone for, you know, doing patchwork on both sides, but I thought, you know, that I liked this material here, which I've chosen on the front there, a couple of pieces. I thought I'd like that for my back piece, so I've got that. So what we're going to do then is, when we finish doing all the stitching on the front piece, it's going to be sewn and attached to this back piece, and then when we turn it over on this piece here, we will do our pockets and needle case and whatever else you want to put on the inside. And then when it's completed, it gets rolled up, and it contains all of your sewing implements there. So I might show you that periodically when I'm working on it, because you don't want to sit watching me just doing running stitch, you know, while I'm working on here. But I'll bring it in front of the camera and show you it as the work's progressing. But last year when I went on one of Bella's workshops, and she was doing a needle case. So same again, the needle case was, you know, on my desk. You got pieces of batting like this, wadding, or should I say wadding, and pieces of cotton like this. And this was to make our little needlebook. So that was on my desk, and I haven't finished it, but I just wanted to show you my progress so far. And thank you, Bella, because all I did last year was this front section, and but since I got home on Wednesday, and we're now on Friday, the past 2 days, you sort of inspired me to get going again. So I've been working on it for the past 2 days, and what I've done is I've put some trim on the edges, and I've put this little pocket. This was in one of the, you know, because when Bella brings you the bowl with all the bits of material, there's also pieces of little bits that she's printed or stitched or you know, cut up, you know, pieces of quilting and things like this. So this was in one of the packs, and because I purchased some quilting packs, you know, with little scraps in from her from last year. And so I've got that, and I've made it into a little pocket, and I've put a button on it there, and the flowers were on it already. And this is, I presume it's a little sewing machine picture that Rachel's done, that Bella's done, because she prints on material. And then I've made this little pocket here out of a piece of quilt that was in one of the scrappy box. And what I mean by scrappy box is when you go, you get I'll show you that in a minute. Because I want to show you what I've bought as well. So I've put my scissors in this little pocket here, and I just want to attach a button in there so that it holds my scissors in place. And this is what I've been working on as my little embroidered flower. And I did a little bit at the retreat on Monday, but I ran out of the pink to do the petals with, so I'd left all my threads at home and didn't take the right pink with me. So I want to finish that off. And what I've done is I've found these 2 little leaves left over from something in my stash, and I've sewn on I've stitched them on the bottom and sewn on some grass at the bottom there. And I quite like that effect, because you can see the leaves behind, and I like the fact that they're turning over and, you know, what have you. So I'm going to finish that off, and then I'm going to put a little bee or something up in this top right hand corner, and then it'll be ready to be stitched to the back piece there. So as you turn over, I had to start on something else because I couldn't finish this off. And oh no, let me go back to the pocket. So yeah, what I've done is I've put a piece of lace, broderie and glaze, and I threaded some pink ribbon through and stitched it on there, and stuck a little love wooden heart on there with some beacon 3-in-1 on there, because it's not a button, so there was no buttonholes for me to stitch it on with. And then we turn over, and I've made a little pocket here, and that's just a scrappy piece of cotton material layered and with a printed piece on with some I've stitched a little rosebud there, and then I've sewn in 3 little buttons that I thought complemented the rosebud. And because I've got a needle picker, a stitch picker with a red handle, I thought I would make a little tag, button tag to go in there. And then here I've put a little bow on top of there, and lifted it up. I've layered some of my own lace on there that I bought from, I can't remember where I got that from. And I'm going to put my needles on this bit. I can tuck something behind there, and this is going to be my my pin keeper on there. And then I might put another page in and have an extra page, but I've got to cut some more of this backing, and I didn't like the fact that it was white and this is cream, so I'm going to try, if I decide I want to put an extra page in, I'll try and get some of this creamy material there, but I think it might be a bit too bulky if I put another page in. And then here I've done a little pocket sewn on a handmade with love wooden button on there. This was a bit of a label from the corner of some material, and then I've got this little sewing kit that I acquired from my travels. I don't know whether it was when I worked in Dubai, and you get things when you go into hotels and what have you. So I've got to put something on there, so I need to work out what I need to put on that bit. And then on the last page I've done another button that's got a little bit of a plique on. It's got a bit of leaf trim there and a little flower wooden button, and then there's another little tag with roses on, and that's just scrappies of material and lace and just stitched on there. That's machine stitched on those, and that just belongs in the little pocket there, and that's it. So I'm going to just put needle case or something on the front there, and maybe put a couple of buttons or something on. So that's another work in progress, but I just wanted to say thank you to Bella for inspiring me to, you know, get it out again and get going. And I've really enjoyed working on it the past few days, and relaxing and just having a bit of mindfulness time after the lovely retreat that we've had. So I'll just show you my other, because I did buy a few bits and pieces at the retreat, but most of them were little snippets of fabrics and things like that. And we brought home all sorts because people bring swaps, and so you always end up coming back with more than you went with. But in Bella's shop, this was up for sale, and I absolutely adored it when I saw it, so I thought I'd share it with you. It has got some extras in it at the moment because I've put some of the little scrappy bits that I picked up, and this is what I mean by scrappy bits. And some of the girls have shared bits and bobs with me. Some of them were out of the bin. Some of them were from my own stash that I've included, and because all the girls bring little bits and bobs and share things with, and yeah, so these bits here are from I bought Bella does some packs like this, A4 packs with some card in, and then she lays over the top pieces of doily and things like this with, you know, scraps of material and things in and lace. And I bought one of those, and it's got some beautiful bits and bobs, but I've put them all together with this. So some of these could have come from the pack that I bought from, I should have left it closed really, but I mean that was in one of the, you know, in the pack as well, that came with it, and I thought, oh, that's lovely. Some bits of lace, and there was I think there was a cotton silk in it as well. This might have been in it, you know, so you get bits to do embroidery with as well. And then, as I say, there was this beautiful box, and what she's done is she's been sewing her little squares with running stitch, and she's just adhered them to the front of a box, made a little scrappy flower, and used a bit of doily there, look, and she's put some cotton lace all around the edges, and she's done the same as the top. So it's a bit like making a masterboard, but with your materials, but on a box. And how fantastic is that? It looks absolutely stunning. So you've got little pieces here, look, there's cross stitch, and then all the others just got the little running stitch in. There's a bit of a doily in the middle there, and a circle of material which she's zigzagged, and then inside she's lined it, and then there was all these lovely, you know, little bits of lace. And, you know, because I don't get to many like fabric, you know, I don't go to charity shops and things like that. I should do, but walking's a bit of a problem. But so, you know, this is ideal for me because it gives me little bits and bobs that I can work with on my, you know, in my journals, or on my, you know, my Hus Wiff. And I'll certainly put those bits and pieces to good use. And yeah, I shall enjoy using those, and this is going to sit and have pride of place when I do. So that's it, everybody. I hope that you've enjoyed my little show and tell, and I hope that you like what I've made, and I hope you've enjoyed the video. And as I say, if you do feel that you'd like to join us at the, well, not me, but if you'd like to join Rachel and Bella at their next retreat, all the information will be on Rachel and Bella's website. Just look for the link that is headed retreats, and that will take you to all the information that you need. And hopefully I'll get to meet you if you go to next year's summer retreat. And I hope that you'll join me in my next video, because I'll be going to do some more work on my lovely sewing themed or dressmakers journal that I've been popping some extra bits in. I won't show you what they are because it's a work in progress behind the scenes, and but it's going to be a bumper journal by the time it's finished. So yeah, I'm going to have to make sure that I make a big enough spine so that it's not a gator mouth journal like my journals usually are, because I've also been inspired by looking at some of the journals the girls brought, and yeah, it's the way that they finish them off. So, but I digress, and I'm going to say good night for now, and take care, everybody, and be kind to one another, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. So until then, I'll say good night. Bye, everyone. Bye.